Today, we're diving into a story that really hit a nerve with thousands of people online. It is a raw, incredibly emotional story about a young widow who's facing a choice, an absolutely impossible choice, about the family that she feels betrayed her.
And this is it. This is the raw, unfiltered question she posted on Reddit's Am I the Asshole forum. It's that place where people lay out their biggest conflicts and just ask the world for a judgment. She's in this terrible spot, and she really just wanted to know, was she in the wrong?
So let's start at the beginning. Section 1, a widow's difficult question. We need to meet the woman at the heart of all this and really get a handle on the conflict she's up against. Okay, so picture this. Our original poster, or OP, is a mom to a 3-year-old and an 18-month-old. Her husband passed away from cancer just 6 months ago, so she's deep in grief, she's raising 2 toddlers all by herself, and then, boom, a message pops up out of the blue that forces her to face a past that is just loaded with pain.
Section 2, a history of betrayal. Now, to really understand the weight of the decision she's facing, we have to rewind about 5 years. Because this whole story, it's built on a really painful foundation.
When you look at the timeline of how this family fell apart, it's just heartbreaking. It all starts back in 2019. Her husband gets a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. So they move in with his parents, thinking they'll get support, right? But instead, she becomes his one and only caregiver, while his family, according to her, actually mocked him for being afraid to die. And this cruelty just kept going, hitting a new low when the in-laws actually canceled their promise to babysit for the birth of their own grandchild so they could go on a 2-week vacation. And that was really the breaking point. When they were confronted about the vacation, the in-laws' response was, well, it was shocking. After years of apparently asking for grandkids, they allegedly told their own son and daughter-in-law that they were all a burden and that they just didn't care if they ever saw the kids. So after that huge fight, for the next 2 years, the couple really tried to talk things through. But every single time, they were just shut down with that one phrase, get over it and move on. The in-laws just refused to even acknowledge the hurt they caused. It's a classic case of what people call rug sweeping. You know that manipulation tactic where you just pretend something awful never even happened, which makes the other person feel like they're crazy? Section 3, the final heartbreak. So the relationship was already pretty much broken. But what happened in her husband's final days? That would shatter it for good. The timing of this is it's staggering. Her husband has only 2 weeks left to live, and he's begging his parents to reconcile. His dad apologizes, but that piece didn't last long at all. While the OP was out for a doctor's appointment, they allegedly just turned on her, playing the victim, saying she ruined everything. And that was it. That was the final straw. From his deathbed, their own son yelled at them to get out of his house. You would think that's the lowest it could possibly get. But nope. The OP had to organize her husband's entire memorial service all by herself. His mother confirmed she was coming. She RSVP'd yes. And then she just didn't show up. No call, no text, nothing. So a week goes by, a whole week of just silence. The grieving widow finally reaches out to her mother-in-law, just asking, why? Why didn't you come to your own son's memorial? And the response? She was blocked. All communication just cut. They left her completely alone in her grief. But in his final moments, her husband saw everything so clearly. He knew his family, and he gave his wife one last crucial piece of advice. He gave her permission to protect herself and their children. He told her to trust her gut and run if she needed to. Which brings us right back to the present. After the memorial no-show, after the blocking, after months and months of absolute silence, something totally unexpected happens. 6 months. For half a year, our OP heard nothing. She was just left to deal with this soul-crushing new reality of being a single mom to 2 babies. And then a message from her mother-in-law just appears. Okay, just look at this. The whiplash is absolutely stunning. After skipping their son's memorial, now they want to do coffee. After claiming they were the victims, now they're free for babysitting. And after literally blocking her, the mother-in-law now claims she promised her son she'd be there for the family. There's no apology, no explanation, just this bizarre attempt to rewrite history and pick things up like nothing ever happened. So, Section 5, The internet's verdict. She's confused, she's hurt, she's second-guessing everything. So the OP laid out this whole crazy story and just asked for an objective ruling. And these were her biggest fears. Is she letting her own pain get in the way of her children having grandparents? Is she being the unreasonable one here? She basically put her fate in the hands of thousands of strangers. And the response? Well, it wasn't ambiguous at all. It was a complete and total landslide. The community overwhelmingly voted that she was not the asshole. The message couldn't have been clearer. Her instincts were right all along. The advice she got from everyone was so clear and consistent. People warned her that this was a pattern of behavior, not some one-time mistake. They made a really important point that forgiveness and reconciliation are two very different things. They even cautioned her about potential legal battles over grandparents' rights, those laws in some places that let grandparents sue for visitation. But more than anything, they urged her to honor what her husband wanted, to protect herself and her kids from this toxic cycle. And maybe the most powerful perspective of all came from people who had actually lived through something similar as kids. This comment, it just says it all. It's like a warning from the future, from a child who grew up with toxic relatives and wished their parent had made that incredibly hard choice to protect them. So that's the story. And it really leaves us with a heavy question, doesn't it? We're always taught that family is everything. But a story like this really challenges that idea. It asks us to think about a really difficult truth, that sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is to walk away. What do you think?